Good morning, Wednesday the 7th of June.
Good morning.
We are at the Forres golf course. So I haven't done this little wonder before. We've eaten at the clubhouse over there a couple of times, at least it was twice, that we've eaten there, yeah. And we were trying to figure out where to go for a walk today, and here we are. Golf courses are lovely places to have a wander. There's already some dedicated, committed gentlemen out there with their clubs. Didn't see any ladies just yet. No doubt they will also be out after they've done the dishes and the floors and the vacuuming and the windows and the laundry and all of that kind of stuff, and prepared for the lunch. And this is after doing breakfast and then prepared for the supper. Or do we live in a more modern world today? Somehow methinks not, except in our house. Except in our house.
You made your breakfast?
But you do breakfast every day. That's your chore and mine is supper. So look at that, isn't it beautiful? Oh, it's just lovely. Looks like there's some kind of wishing well over there. Is that where people wish they got
wish they could play better.
Wish they could find their ball in the rough. Wish they could get a hole in one. I know I'm being a little sarcastic because there are some people in my family who are avid golfers and enjoy it probably way too much. Derek and Debbie just joking.
I get invited to play golf once.
Once? Where was that and how did that work out for you, Colin?
In Zimbabwe, Harare.
At the Royal Harare Golf Club by a friend, Basil. Yes, yes. Basil took his golf very seriously,
Very
Colin.
seriously.
You didn't realise that,
He was
did
short
you?
on his team that day, so he picked me.
Poor guy.
Never picked me again.
But he was trying to include you, he was being friendly, but you're right, he never picked you again. He didn't like being embarrassed. And he was embarrassed, wasn't he?
Oh, he was thoroughly embarrassed.
Oh, shame. And I'm assuming that his team lost.
Yes.
Okay. Was it a team of two?
No, 3, I believe.
3. Gosh, so you played with somebody else and you made him lose too. It's one thing to make Basil lose, he's your pal, but the other guy, shame. Anyway, I used to play golf a handful of times, probably as many times as I have digits on my hands, at the Vic Falls Golf Club at Elephant Hills. Now that was a golf course. Look, this is pretty. I can't deny this is pretty. It's lovely. But the Vic Falls Golf golf course was more than pretty.
However, you're not in danger of being eaten by lions here.
Or stomped on by elephant.
Like the Vic Falls Club.
Just wonderful. You're wandering along looking for, well, you're very fortunate because you've got these wonderful caddies and they find the ball when it goes into an area that you've lost track of, and you come face to face with a warthog or an impala or something, some monkeys. Well, they can be lions, but you always know that they're there because they put signs up to tell you that lions are on the golf course, and you play at your own risk. And that's just a fact. But I do remember seeing the elephant as I came to the green, and that was quite something, to be fair. Right, well, your golf days, my golf days, have we laid that one to rest?
We've hung our clubs up.
I do remember hitting one of them really well, and my lovely, lovely caddy said, "That's the one that'll bring you back," because it was a sweet shot, and there were too few of those sweet shots for me, I'm afraid. Anyway, here we go. Oh, this must be a place where you see there's some nets up there. People can practice maybe? I don't know. Anyway, that's an assumption. I wanted to talk to you about Free Believers, Colin.
Free Believers, what's that?
Well, you tell me what you think it is, because we talked about this last night and you suggested that is a name for a peer support Zoom that I'm thinking of starting.
Well, I believe it will be a community of people who are spiritual, who have faith, and yet have grown out of favour, shall we say, grown disillusioned by the religious institutions.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, yeah, I mean, after meeting that person yesterday who we were able to connect so quickly, and it turned out that we had these similar, not the same at all, but similar threads to our story when it comes to being in organized institutional religion and having decided to leave. And then last week having, or just in the last few days anyway, another conversation with somebody around that same topic, and realizing, as we realized many years ago, there are millions of people who share this same type of experience. The disillusionment, it's not disillusionment, is it? Is that what it is? Is it disillusionment because we had an illusion and you finally realized that that's what it was?
I think it begins there.
Uh-huh.
And you walk into freedom. You realise you were shackled
Yeah.
by dogma, religion, doctrine, rules, regulations,
Law.
hierarchy,
Yeah.
etc., etc.
So you're right. Because as I said to somebody, I feel that it was essential to go through the church, to have that experience, to be really involved in leadership, etc., because it really exposes things for an individual. And it's not everybody's journey, is it? It just happened to be ours. Oh, I wonder why it's called Witch Tree. Which one is it? Anyway, I thought it had been funny. You could have at least had a chuckle. Oh well,
Yeah, well,
that fell flat. Right. I think, given that you have to be at work in a shortish period of time, we should turn around soon.
yeah.
Anyway, so that's really the little bit that we'll end on, is that there are millions of us who are either in or have left the institution of organized religion. And by the way, that could be any religion. It just happened to be Christianity for us. It could be Muslim, it could be Judaism, it could be any religion. And millions of us have decided to step out of the confines of that and learn to just be who we're called to be. And in our ethos, or what have you, that would be to be salt and light, to be compassionate, kind, loving, caring, non-judgmental, in fact, to be like Jesus. You know, I think that's where it really became so apparent for me, was the more I read of Jesus, the more I read the Gospels, the more I realized that wasn't what we were being in church or as church leaders. And there was a massive cognitive dissonance in me. And I remember clearly the day that it just hit Colin. And he just said to me after a particular meeting, he said, "That's it, we're leaving." And I remember just feeling the sense of absolute relief flood through me. I had waited some time for him to to reach his decision. And that was it. Yeah, and it was just, he suddenly saw things with wide open eyes and recognized an injustice that was happening under the, I don't know, what would you call it? The auspices of we are doing we are God's voice, we are godly people, and everything we do is godly. when clearly what was happening was not godly. And we just decided to step out, and there's a price to be paid. And yeah, and you just keep walking your path, knowing that you're loved, that you belong, that you have purpose. And then what happens is one day you're just free and yet a believer. So I had that I had that tattooed on my inside of my wrist.
You see it?
Why not? I don't know if you can see it. It says there, free believer. And yeah, because that was my declaration after finally having the shackles removed. I became a free believer. And there are, as I say, millions of us. And whoever's listening to this, who, if there's a resonance, if there's some way that you feel that you want to, I don't know, just ask some questions, find out more, you're very welcome.
Be part of a fellowship.
Be part of a fellowship, yeah. Because that's what we're going to do. We're going to start a Free Believers Fellowship.
Community.
Community. Fellowship community, just community. Anyway, you're very welcome. Just drop us a message and keep an eye out for when we're going to advertise it. It's going to be by Zoom, so it'll be available to anyone all over the world, so long as the time differences aren't so too dramatic. And that's going to bring us to the end of our walk for today. We're listening to the birds. It's really warm today, and it's threatening to be up in the 20s, I think.
Good.
So that's going to be gorgeous. And have a wonderful rest of your week. Lots of love, grace and blessings. Anything from you, sir?
Have a great day.
Bye.
Bye.